Hey YouTube land, welcome back to another action figure review by Tycondrius, and today we're having a look at something quite interesting and quite special. Now this is a new release for 2024. It is a Target exclusive in the States. I believe Target is the store exclusive for this. I don't think it's Walmart, I believe it is Target. I picked this one up from the secondary market from eBay. Unfortunately, I was hoping I might have spotted one of these when I was over in the States in the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately, there's only one Target that was near where I was staying, and it didn't have this set. And it's a set I've been looking forward to. There is another set that has been announced. I don't think it's been released yet. I think it's being released at the fall. But this is the Stranger Things X Masters of the Universe, or Masters of the Universe X Stranger Things, whichever way you want to go with it. And it is the Demogorgon versus or Wish Skeletor. I'm not sure which way you want to go with it, because you can interpret it any way, I suppose. But we'll have a look at the box for this set, if I move the figures aside. So this is the glorious box it comes in. It is a 2-pack. So you get the Demogorgon on one side, which is really nicely done because he's actually upside down in the box. Nod to the upside down. And then if I turn upside down the box, and you can see the Skeletor one is the right side up, in theory. On one side, you have a really nice image of Skeletor. It's a really nice art rendering of Skeletor. And on the opposite side, because of the way they did it, it's nicely done. It is the Demogorgon, but it's flipped, so it is upside down on the box. So you have the artwork that way. I do like the weapon he comes with. You can see it's a flaming mace, double-headed mace. So if I flip back around the box again, there is actually an write-up on the back, and there's a really nice big artwork piece on the back. I'm hoping, if they've done it the way I'm hoping they've done it, if you get the He-Man set, the boxes might line up and there might be a kind of a versus thing going on. You can see Snake Mountain in the background. This is the upside down version of Eternia, so Snake Mountain has all those kind of vines around it. You can see the big weird, I think it's supposed to be Vecna creature in the background, or the big mysterious creature that you see. You see Skeletor up front, you see the Demogorgon in all its glory, and then it says, upside down Eternia. For his efforts to capture the power of Grayskull, Skeletor rips through the fabric of the universe into a new, darker world, the Upside Down. Now subject to the rule of Vecna, Eternia counts once again on He-Man to fight the horrors like the Demogorgon and return Eternia back home. And then up in the box, or down the bottom of the box, you have put the Havoc Staff or Hellfire Staff into hand, which is it's a Hellfire Staff, not a double mace, but it looks kind of like a mace. And then twist into powerful battle positions, and it is quite a cool looking figure. We'll start with the Skeletor one first, because he's the least, well, he's not least interesting, but he's the least amount of new parts. In fact, he has 0 new parts on him. The only thing that he has going is his deco, which is a lovely, really nice done deco. So he's made of the kind of similar looking blue skin tone that Skeletor is known for, but he has this really nice shading wash over it, and it's not as bright and vibrant as his original counterpart. And because I haven't to hand, here is the very first Origins version Skeletor. So you can see everything from this figure is copied over on the new figure. Well, new old figure, depending which way you want to put it. So everything is identical. His battle armor, his loincloth piece, his boots, even the head. They reused the head from the first version of Skeletor. Now, I would Would have preferred if they had gone, I suppose they had so many of that Skeletor mold left. I would have preferred if they had gone down this route and used this head. This is the head from the Screech 2-pack. It's the first, and I think only so far, Skeletor head that isn't an exclusive that was sold kind of as a standard Skeletor to have this articulated jaw piece. I was hoping they might do that going forward for any other Skeletors, have that articulating jaw, because you can actually recreate the actual expression he has in this new figure with that one. You can see that actually, I'll just bring him in, he does have different coloring. This is supposed to be more comic coloring, so you can see the bodies between them. It's like they used this plastic skin tone, this kind of offish, kind of pale grayish blue, but gave it a wash over to create this guy, which is a nice nod. As I said, this guy's the original first Origins version. They did a second wave version of him where it was the exact same figure, just with a different head. But that being said, I do love how they did this guy. I really like the wash they used on the armor. It has a kind of very weathered and worn look. It does have a very pale, washed out look to it. So it does look like the upside down version of Skeletor. In fact, actually, let me see. Just adjust my camera a touch, just so you can get a good look at that face sculpt up close and personal. But it is really nice done. It is very paled out. It looks more bone and skull like than previous ones. The other ones have like that yellow, kind of green surround with the yellow, bright yellow. This one looks way more skull like, which is quite nice. And just like any other Skeletor, he comes with 2 additional accessories. So he comes with his power sword, or his version of the power sword, which is done in purple. And this is the full sword, not the half sword. They have in the past, in the very first version, he came with a half sword. Then later on, they changed it to a full sword. And I think in one of the more recent releases for Skeletor, they went back to the half sword idea. I think it's the which one is it? It's one of the more recent ones had a half sword. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. But it's done in a really nice metallic purple. So you can get the camera to focus in on that. It is done in a really nice metallic wash purple, which is really nice. And same with the Havoc Staff. His Havoc Staff is very similar to how the 2000X version came, except it's a bit more of a paler purple. So it's not as vibrant purple as this is the 2000X version of Skeletor. This is the original Havoc Staff, so you can see the colorings. So, and then for this one, this is the one that came with that comic style one, which came in the Screech pack. So these are so far all the different varying colors of the Havoc Staff. This being the new one, it's a lot paler in purple, but it has that kind of weathered wash to it, which is quite nice. So as I said, he's a basic Skeletor, but just with a way more nice deco. Even on the back, he looks pretty cool. He still has that whole pop apart thing that the Origins line has, so you can kind of mix and match some parts. He has his arms can stretch out that much. He can rotate all around, but just beware if you leave him like this for a extended period of time, this will warp. He has single joint elbow with the swivel, a joint in the wrist and a swivel in the wrist, ball joint on the head. His legs can kick forward a small bit, has a single jointed knee with a swivel on it, has a boot cut swivel, has the rocker ankles and the peg holes on the bottom. So as I said, he has all the standard articulation of a basic Masters of the Universe Origins figure. And that brings us, actually, just before I go and move on to our star of the show, quite literally star of the show, we'll just bring the tape measure so you can see with his legs extended to his full height there, he's just a hair under 6 inches. So he's around a 3.5 thereabouts. So he does stand a little shorter than 6, but he is quite nicely done. And that brings us to the star of the show, or star of the set. So you get one accessory with him, which has 2 optional attachments. So as it's called, the Hellfire staff. So it's done in this metallic blue, similar to how Skeletor's is done in the metallic purple. You can, if you wish, remove these flame effects and just have it as the staff itself. I do like the fact that they used a D20 dice for it. It looks more like a double-headed mice, as in like double-sided mace, some sort of like bow staff kind of type thing, with two fairly hefty bludgeoning pieces at either side. So you have that. It does show that you can attach these flame pieces, if you wish, onto the Demogorgon. And I'm going to do that with the hands. So it's on the kind of pinky finger, or on the thumb, and on the wrist. Now this guy is a mashup of old parts and some new parts, some reused parts. Because most recently we have gotten these parts already as part of another subline, which is the Turtles of Grayskull line. So I'm going to leave that back together. So for the most part, he reuses Beastman parts. So if I bring in, I know this isn't standard Beastman. This is the Turtles of Grayskull version of Beastman. So he has the different shoulder armor, but his body armor is the same. And the shoulder armor had the standard Beastman one would be the same, but the body and the arms down as far as the hands, and the legs all the way down as far as the feet are the same as Beastman. Everything else, like, it's just done in different coloring. But you can see he shares all the same Beastman parts, back to front. The wash on it just makes his sculpt pop way more than Beastman. He even has the bright blue trunks that Beastman generally has. So the new-ish parts for this are technically the hands are new to a degree, and the feet are new. These exact parts have been reused already once so far this year, and that's for this guy. This is the Turtles of Grayskull mutated Mossman figure. So he reuses a lot of parts. As you can see, he uses the arms, including the hands of Vecna, or not Vecna, of the Demogorgon. And this armor piecing will eventually be coming with the other 2-pack figure that is going to be released as part of Stranger Things, which is this guy. So they're going to reuse most of this body, most of these parts, different armor pieces, new head, and they're going to create this guy out of this. So he'll be similar in scale to this. So, and that scale is pretty tall because he has that really big open flower-like head. So this guy actually stands nearly around the 7 inches mark because of how high and how big the head is on this guy. So, and he does have all the standard articulation. Now, I will say the Beastman armor does tend to trap the head a small bit. You can still get a 360 with it for the most part. It's just, it does tend to get in the way a little bit. You don't get much of that ball joint to use on it because it kind of, the ring around the neck does get in the way. If you wanted to, you could probably strip off all these armor pieces and strip them back down to just bare bones. In fact, I will do that. So as you can see, that's how the head is attached. So I'm going to do that just so you can see him without any armor on him. So he kind of looks like a fairly basic Demogorgon, except wearing trunks. So you have that kind of basic Demogorgon look, aside from the trunks, because they didn't actually have trunks. But he does look pretty cool, and then the wristbands as well, because they're Motu parts. So I'm going to pop the armor piece back on. You don't even need to unclasp it because of the way Beastman's armor works. It just really sits over the body, and then we'll get the right one left. So oh, that's upside down. We got his shoulder spikes back on him, And there we go. He has his gear back on. So he has all the same basic articulation as a standard Masters of the Universe. So the arms can rotate up that way. Can rotate just a bit all the way around. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. Because of the way these bodies work, instead of their arm going vertically 90 degrees up, it does go at an angle once you get to a certain degree. So you kind of have to splay it out at the side to get that 360, but you can get it to do it. There is a single jointed elbow with hinge. You got the single jointed wrist with a hinge as well, so you can swivel and hinge. You got the legs can splay that much, can kick forward that much and back. Single jointed elbow with the swivel. He does have a boot cut, which is a bit weird because he doesn't actually wear boots. He has natural legs going down the whole way, so it does look a bit weird if you were to use that. But it's there for if you want to swap out and give him like Skeletor's boots. It's the whole part of the mix and match playability of these guys. And then you do have peg holes. You have those newer four-toed feet that were sculpted specifically. I believe they were sculpted for this guy. And the Beastman, or not the Beastman, the Mothman, mutated Mothman was kind of a secondary thing. I'm not sure if they were both developed at the same time, but I remember seeing pictures for this first before the Beastman. I keep calling it the Beastman. Before the Mothman figure was announced, they had pictures and images of this. So I'm assuming those feet and hands were designed first for this guy, and then they thought it was a good reuse of parts for the mutated Mothman. So. And as I said, he will be utilizing the same parts again for Vecna, with the exception of his right hand. His right hand will be a standard Motu Masters of the Universe gripping hand, because if you're familiar with the show, and as I showed earlier, with this guy, Vecna has that big clawed hand on one side, but he has like a more standard human-sized hand on his right hand. So that's the way they're tackling that. They're just giving him a more standard hand on the side. He will have a unique head sculpt, and he will reuse that armor part, or the armor parts from the Mothman. So he will have the shoulder bits, he will have that body armor piece, and that body armor piece also has, when they're going out, I'll probably knock everything down, so if you hear stuff tumbling, don't worry about it. The Mothman figure also comes with these, which are the tentacles that they're going to use for Vecna as well when they get around to the other set. So as I said, the other set in this line, which is another 2-pack, is a upside down version of He-Man, which looks really cool. He has a kind of more paler skin tone, just like as Skeletor does. He has that kind of more paler look. I'm wondering if they'll keep the kind of wash effect to the armor as well, because I really like how Skeletor's wash effect turned out. Hopefully they'll do something similar with He-Man's. Hopefully it won't be too chrome, but it'll be just metallic enough that it looks really good. And then his counterpart in the 2-pack will be Vecna as the counterpart for him. So you will get to have He-Man versus Skeletor, and He-Man versus Vecna, and a Demogorgon if you want to. And I'm not sure if they're going to round out any other figures. That's the only two figure sets that I'm aware of. We could even get something else down the line. Might be interesting to see someone like Man-at-Arms in this set versus one of the the Demo Dogs, whatever they were called, the four-legged Demogorgon headed kind of hound looking things. I think they were called Demo Hounds or Horror Hounds or something along those lines. But all in all, it is a really good set. Unfortunately, as I said, I had to go through strings and roundabouts to get this guy, because I was really looking forward to it. I'm hoping the second set that is being released won't be as hard to get. I would imagine there is a market for this over here in Europe. I believe it might be sold in some stores in Europe, but it does come with a sort of hefty price tag. So from what I've been told, the price tag for this over here runs around between 40 and 50 euros. Now, I picked mine up for around retail, what it is in retail in the States, and for retail in the States it's $30. So I managed to get mine on eBay for around that price, but with shipping and import fees it did round it all up to nearly the 40-50 mark. So I didn't really make much of a saving on it, to be fair. I just managed to be able to get it before, because I don't know if, as I said, I don't know if it's been going to get a release over here in Ireland, or if it will be released in certain stores in Europe. I could imagine that they might do what they did with the Mossman figure over here with Smiths in Europe. They might have it as an exclusive, which would be a nice way of getting it and getting it out to audiences, but it's just a bit of a pain in the butt for us Irish collectors, because they seem to omit the Irish market for certain things. So for example, they have a lot of some of the other Masters of the Universe figures that are currently available in Smiths Germany and Smiths UK, I think, and Smiths in Europe in general, but they don't have them available to the Irish market, which is kind of annoying. But that said, all in all, this is a fantastically cool set. I do recommend picking it up, and I do stress that if you do go for this set, when you do get it, just give the figures a quick dunk in some hot water, boiled water, pre-boiled water, just to loosen up any stiff joints that they might have in packaging. Because when I first got the Demogorgon, his hips and legs were very tight, and I was a bit worried that he might snap. Because when I first got, the only figure I've had a QC issue, a really bad QC issue with, is the Lady Slither figure. When I got the first version of her, I literally only got her out of the box, started moving the leg like that, and the whole hip snapped at the joint where it connects into the leg, as opposed to just popping the leg off socket. So it wasn't an easy fix, unfortunately. But thankfully, the buddy of mine that I picked her up off had a second copy of it, so he gave me his good one, and we swapped it out for the bad one, unfortunately. But them's the breaks. Sometimes you get lucky with stuff, but because this is so hard to get over here, I was hoping it wouldn't have any issues, and it doesn't. So there you go, guys. I know I've been waffling on, but hopefully you enjoyed this video and watched it through to its end. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to hit that 5K mark, hopefully sometime this summer, and we'll try and get the 5K subscriptions, so I can get, improve my channel and start getting better at doing these things. So thanks for watching, and as always, hopefully you enjoy your day. Cheers. Thanks.